On the night of Saturday, February 19, 1994, at approximately 8:15 p.m., 31-year-old Gloria Ramirez was rushed to Riverside General Hospital in Moreno Valley, California. She was suffering from terminal cervical cancer with dangerously low blood pressure and a rapid heartbeat. During her treatment, the ER staff noticed unusual and mysterious symptoms, including a sharp garlic-like odor emanating from her mouth and unidentified substances in her blood. What happened next was like a scene from a horror movie. Doctors in the room began to lose consciousness, and an emergency situation was declared. The room was evacuated, with only a few personnel remaining to continue Gloria's treatment. Around 8:50 p.m., Gloria passed away, leaving many questions unanswered. Meanwhile, the ER staff complained of serious complications, such as muscle spasms and difficulty breathing. While some believed Gloria died from natural causes, others suspected something more sinister. Either way, she tragically gained widespread media attention as the Toxic Lady. 30 years later, Gloria's case remains unsolved. Welcome to Bad Things. As usual, we'll be looking at the timeline, the known facts, and the theories to determine what most likely happened to Gloria Ramirez. But first, if you need a little break from all the true crime cases, conspiracy theories, and bad things we cover here, we've got something for you. It's called Lots of Slots, and it's the perfect way to unwind. No investigations required. Lots of Slots brings the excitement of a real Vegas casino right to your phone. Whether you're into classic slot machines or something a little more adventurous, they've got it all. In fact, they have more than 150 games, and they add new ones every week. And best of all, it's completely free to play. You can try for yourself right now via the QR code on the screen or via the link in the description. It's a perfect way to kill some time after a long day like John is doing here. We've played quite a bit over the past week at the Bad Things office, and our favorite slot game is called Diamond Spins. It puts a unique twist on the classic slot game and is simply a lot of fun to play. Besides the traditional slot game, Lots of Slots got a ton of exciting mini-games to keep you entertained. One of our favorites is Space Battle, a fast-paced pinball game where you can rack up tons of free coins. And if you're looking for some serious thrills, check out Golden Wheel. Watching that wheel spin is a total adrenaline rush. If you're competitive, daily challenges and tournaments keep things exciting. With Halloween around the corner, don't miss out on the Lots of Slots Hello Win Party on Facebook for a chance to win a $100 perks package. Download Lots of Slots through the link in the pinned comment or description, and you'll get 20 million free coins as a new player, plus 40 million extra coins as our audience. Now let's get back to the case. Gloria Ramirez was born on January 11, 1963, in Riverside, California, where she spent most of her life. She was one of 3 children in a tight-knit Mexican-American family. Her father worked as a car mechanic, while her mother was a homemaker. Gloria lived a simple life and made good friends due to her excellent social skills. She's remembered as someone who left school early and worked a variety of jobs over the years, primarily in fast food restaurants. Struggling single mother. Unfortunately, life took a difficult turn for her when she became a single mother following her divorce. While details about her personal life remain private, it is widely known that she had 2 children with her ex-husband, 12-year-old Evelyn Arciniega and 9-year-old Angel Jr. Despite the challenges she faced, she remained hopeful and was looking forward to a brighter future. After years of perseverance, she found love with Johnny Estrada in Riverside, and the two became engaged. Tragic news: cancer diagnosis. In late 1993, Gloria received devastating news she never expected. She had been losing weight and experiencing severe health issues, which prompted her to seek medical attention. Doctors diagnosed her with cervical cancer, and tragically it was already in an advanced stage, despite her being a young woman in her 30s. Faced with this diagnosis, Gloria had to carefully consider her options. Her situation was made even more difficult by the fact that she was unemployed and lacked health insurance, a significant challenge in a country like the US. According to her sister, Maggie Ramirez Garcia, Gloria was able to begin chemotherapy or radiation therapy. While a full recovery wasn't certain, the treatment was expected to prolong her life. Tragically, however, Gloria was about to face an even greater challenge. The day of the bizarre incident. On the evening of February 19, 1994, Gloria's condition took a serious turn when she struggled to breathe, and her heart was racing. Fortunately, Johnny was with her and quickly called an ambulance around 8 p.m. The Riverside Fire Department and paramedics arrived promptly. They hooked Gloria up to monitors, administered oxygen, and started an IV. She was transported to the hospital about 15 minutes later, but that's when strange events began to unfold. When the hospital staff attempted to use defibrillator pads on her, they noticed an oily sheen on her skin. Soon after, something even more unusual caught their attention. A strong, garlicky odor was emanating from Gloria's mouth. This wasn't just the typical smell of garlic. It was different. However, there was no time for questions during such a critical moment. Nurse Susan Kane used a 20 to 30 milliliter syringe to draw a blood sample and immediately noticed a strong smell of ammonia coming from it. She passed the syringe to a medical resident, Julie Gorkinski, who made another unsettling observation. The syringe contained not just blood, but also strange crystals. The reports described these crystals as white or manila-colored, light brown or yellowish-brown. Dr. Humberto Ochoa, head of the emergency department, also confirmed seeing these crystals. Meanwhile, Nurse Kane suddenly fainted. According to Discover magazine, she stumbled toward the door, complaining of a burning sensation on her face, before being removed from the room. Gorkinski also became dizzy and collapsed, followed by Maureen Welsh, a respiratory therapist, who was the third person to fall ill on the spot. She said, "I remember hearing someone scream, then I woke up. I couldn't control the movement of my limbs." Several other ER staff members also became ill, prompting Dr. Ochoa to order everyone to leave the room. He believed that moving to an open area would provide better safety, away from the potentially toxic environment in the closed space. Despite this, Dr. Ochoa and a small team continued treating Gloria. They tried several medications and used a defibrillator, but Gloria did not respond and was pronounced dead at 8:50 p.m. Meanwhile, 23 out of 37 ER staff members experienced breathing difficulties, with 5 of them requiring overnight treatment at the hospital. Investigation. Surprisingly, when the hazardous materials team conducted a thorough search of the hospital to find the cause, they didn't discover any harmful chemicals. However, officials had not released Gloria's body due to ongoing concerns. Who would have thought that a 31-year-old Riverside resident would end up sealed in double plastic bags and an airtight container for a detailed examination aimed at protecting others from potential harm? Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. The family received Gloria's badly decomposed body 2 months after her death, and she was subsequently buried at Olivewood Memorial Park in Riverside. At the funeral, Reverend Brian Taylor read from Paul's letter to the Corinthians, speaking of how Gloria was a warm and friendly person, always quick to smile. What made his role unique that day, however, was his direct criticism of Riverside County for overlooking key details in the investigation of her death and their mysterious handling of her body afterward. Father Taylor firmly believed that a bizarre and tragic incident at the hospital had claimed her life. He told mourners that the hospital would likely attribute her death to toxic fumes. While the cause of Gloria's death remained unconfirmed, it's fair to say the entire case was tragic from the start. The tragedy deepened a month later when Stephanie Albright, the initial investigator from the coroner's office, committed. She shot herself while speaking with her estranged partner. According to Dan Cupido, the coroner who performed Gloria's original autopsy, Albright may have been under significant pressure due to the ongoing investigation. In contrast, a coroner's report released in late April stated that Gloria had died of natural causes. Her heart failure was attributed to kidney problems brought on by her advanced cervical cancer. Additionally, toxicology studies found no evidence of external chemicals, and the illnesses experienced by the ER staff were not linked to Gloria's death. Her sister Maggie rejected the report, stating, "It takes them 10 weeks to say she died of natural causes. I don't believe anything the county officials or the coroner says." The family strongly believed that the hospital staff had portrayed Gloria as a toxic person to cover up their own involvement in her death. Maggie speculated that Gloria might have survived if she hadn't been placed in that particular room on February 19th. However, county spokesman DeSantis declared the investigation complete and announced that the bizarre case was closed, leaving the mystery unsolved. While the case is closed in official records, it remains open in the minds of medical professionals, detectives, and especially the general public. With that, many theories have emerged with valuable details that could help us conclude what most likely happened to Gloria Ramirez. First theory: mass hysteria. California Department of Health and Human Services scientists Ana Maria Osorio and Kirsten Waller concluded that the medical personnel had suffered from mass hysteria after interviewing 34 staff members who were working in the emergency room that day, possibly triggered by the garlic smell. Mass hysteria, a medical term, refers to an illness involving unusual behaviors and feelings shared among a group of people. Using a standardized questionnaire, Waller and Osorio found that those most severely affected shared certain characteristics. Notably, the affected individuals were more likely to be women than men. Surprisingly, all 5 of the hospitalized staff members were women, and all of them had normal blood pressure. However, Julie Gorkinski, one of the affected individuals, denied this conclusion and filed a $6 million claim against the county. She described the explanation as inaccurate, absurd, and insulting. Another affected staff member, Maureen Welsh, expressed similar views. Osorio, on the other hand, defended the conclusion, stating, "We conducted a very extensive epidemiological study. This was the best we could conclude with the information we had." It is worth noting that Gorkinski's severe reaction raises questions, as others nearby were unaffected despite her close proximity to the source. Peter H. Kurtz, a senior medical coordinator, commented, "I couldn't imagine that a body would retain a chemical that would be released with a needle puncture. I think the incident was real. Someone smelled something that wasn't made up." The response was what it was. But to search for a mysterious agent feels like a chemical witch hunt. I seriously doubt that a toxic event occurred. Second theory: DMSO. Research from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory led to a theory linking Gloria's death to dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO. They concluded that she may have been using DMSO gel as a home remedy for pain. Users of this substance often report a garlic-like taste, which could explain the oily sheen observed on her skin. Dimethyl sulfoxide metabolizes into dimethyl sulfone, DMSO2, which is known to crystallize at room temperature, potentially accounting for the uncharacterized crystals found in the syringe. However, this theory remains unconfirmed. Even the head of the Livermore lab stated, "We've never said this is what happened, just that people should look into it." Third theory: poor hospital conditions. This theory sounds seriously mysterious, asserting that the incident wasn't linked to Gloria's condition, but rather that the hospital was responsible for everything. Remember Albright case we discussed, the one that happened a month into the investigation? Furthermore, it was stated that she was brought under a lot of pressure. Back in 1991, 3 years before the incident, 2 employees were forced to receive treatment for a possible leak of poisonous gas from a sterilizer in the hospital. In 1992, the hospital was blamed for algae growing in a water reservoir after an inspection. In 1993, the year before Gloria's death, An inspection found sewer gas in the emergency room. What happened on February 19, 1994 is already clear. On the other hand, it's important to note that OSHA investigators didn't find any safety violations after their examination. Last theory, methylamine. In 1997, New Times LA published a theory suggesting that the tragic incident was caused by methylamine, a chemical used in the production of methamphetamines that smells like ammonia. The theory proposed that ER staff might have been involved in drug smuggling, using IV bags to smuggle methylamine out of the hospital. According to this theory, the bizarre events were not caused by Gloria's blood, but by the possibility that a toxic IV bag was mistakenly used on her. This could explain why the family had to wait 2 months to receive Gloria's body, as the ER staff may have been trying to cover up the incident to avoid a scandal. However, this theory, like the others, lacks concrete evidence and remains unproven even after 30 years. We'd love to hear your theories in the comments section if you have any thoughts to share. We believe that DMSO was most likely the cause of this bizarre incident. While not officially accepted, it seems the most plausible compared to the other theories we've discussed. For instance, the mass hysteria theory tends to provoke anger, especially among the hospital's own workers, including those most affected, like Gorkinski, who outright rejected this explanation. Christopher Job, an associate professor of surgery at Loma Linda University who treated Gorkinski, also criticized this theory. He stated, "These are people who work in the emergency room of a public hospital, dealing with severe trauma cases all day. People with sucking chest wounds and brains exposed. And now a patient comes in dying of natural causes. Someone smells something strange, and everyone is suddenly overcome." Similarly, we believe the case had nothing to do with hospital conditions. As we discussed earlier, OSHA investigators did not find any safety concerns or occupational health violations. They thoroughly inspected the hospital's heating, cooling, ventilation, and sewer systems. Their conclusion was further supported by a detailed analysis of chemical storage and waste handling. Furthermore, it's hard to believe that experienced ER staff would mistakenly use a methylamine bag, leading to the illness of 23 people. Some people support this theory based on facts like the disappearance of the syringe used for drawing blood. However, it's clear the hospital staff had better ways to cover up a mistake. For instance, they could have simply removed her heart for future study, especially given her pre-existing heart issues. The investigations lasted 2 months, and one expert noted that her internal organs were decomposed, making it difficult to analyze key details. Thus, the removal of her heart as part of the autopsy likely wouldn't have received enough scrutiny to hold anyone legally accountable. That said, the dimethyl sulfoxide theory has attracted significant attention, especially from those with chemical expertise. Although Gloria's family denied she was using DMSO before her death, it's not an unlikely behavior. It's estimated that 2/3 of cancer patients try unprescribed remedies at home in hopes of recovery. Gloria may have been embarrassed to tell her family about it due to her introverted nature, or the family might have been withholding this information to protect her reputation. While she may be viewed as a toxic figure on social media today, to her family she was a loving woman who had been suffering greatly before her death. Dimethyl sulfone could have been produced by unusual chemical reactions inside Gloria's body on February 19th. Scientists believe this compound may have contributed to the illnesses of others in the room after they inhaled the fumes. Imagine a scenario where Gloria's blood was withdrawn. This sudden shift could have caused a rapid drop in her blood temperature, potentially triggering the formation of dimethyl sulfone from DMSO, already present in her body. This scenario suggests that Gloria's use of a home remedy might have inadvertently led to her death and become a central part of the mysteries surrounding her case. What do you think of this analysis? Did we miss anything? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
If you love our content and want to support the channel, feel free to check our web shop where you can find exclusive true crime merch brought to you by Bad Things.